That's good.
Time to reflect on what was a very disappointing matchup. We were ready. The whole fan base were ready. The players talked a good game. The training went well. We didn't have any of the scandals that was coming out of Chelsea, or in terms of all of their injuries. The fans were quiet. There was no Chelsea fans talking on social media. It was almost as if they were scared out of their wits. All of the noise came from the Arsenal side. We had more fans that travelled over there. You couldn't get any more support than what you got as an Arsenal fan. From their perspective, there's nothing more that we could have done. The fan base did everything they could in order to push the team onwards to be the 12th man and win that game. And the team just didn't turn up. Well, not in the second half anyway. The first half was a very tactical game, and in the second half it was really when Chelsea turned it on and switched on the tactics. And I know Sarri had talked about setting the team up to take on a three at the back defence, and it seems that they exposed that. So, you know, here's Emery saying that the 3-4-1-2 works really well in our system, and that's where we've had the best results. But actually, if you look at our results in the run-up to the end of the season, and again, really, it's about the away form as well, it's just awful. And Emery, now this season has gone, he's come out and said, our idea is to continue to carry on and improve with the young players that have arrived. Maybe some players need to leave, but that's not the moment to speak about that. That's coming straight from the horse's mouth, that players are going to have to leave. So obviously, let's start at the back. Well, Cech is already gone. Koscielny has a year left at 33. He's just going to have to go because you're just carrying dead weight. It was, you know, that first step that you lose as the defender is the difference between getting in front of Giroud and allowing Giroud to get in front of you for the first goal. So his best days are behind him. He cannot play 38 games. We've got Callum Chambers coming back off loan, who's probably going to be a defensive midfielder since that's where he's had his success with Fulham. And he's been really, really playing well in that spot. Rob Holding's coming back. He's a lock because he was our best centre-back before he got injured. And again, say what you want about Mustafi, but he's good as a squad player, but that's not the type of person that you're going to depend on in big games, because he always lets you down in big games. Plays well in the subpar games. He's led the team in clearances as well. And Mustafi's not too bad playing it out from the back. But he's just not going to be the person that's going to lead this team. And seriously, I think that you're going to have to probably move back to 4-3-3 to just accommodate three up front. So, you know, we talked about the likes of Alexander and Will Zaha, and now we're talking about Ryan Fraser coming in. So I probably think you have to switch back to three at the front. So you'll have Aubameyang in the middle, Lacazette on the right, and then on the left you're going to probably go with the likes of probably Ryan Fraser, or maybe Sacco or Reece Nelson. That's what you're going to have to do. Again, Iwobi is an option there. You're just going to have to go with the young players, because what we saw yesterday, it was just a complete capitulation of everything that went wrong with Arsenal throughout the season, which was our defence and the midfield's inability to stop the attacks coming through. You know, again, you know, I set a low bar for Xhaka, and I say as long as he doesn't do anything wrong in the game, then he's done well. But he didn't do anything wrong yesterday, but then he didn't really do anything right as well. Just failed to deal with any of the oncoming trackers and runners coming in from Chelsea. And as I said, Chelsea's players like to run at defences, and we just didn't have anybody that was doing that yesterday. So it was a one-up from them, and overall, really disappointing result. But where do we stand? What does this mean for us? So as I said, Koscielny has to leave. Monreal, his time's up anyway. So again, he's gone. Mustafi, I would sell. Moving into the midfield, where we're starting Torreira and Xhaka, I would definitely look to upgrade Xhaka. It's just not bringing enough to the table and I'm talking about what those type of holding midfielders need to do. Where is his, his assists are not in double digits. His tackles are awful. His duels won are among the lowest in the Premier League. You're just carrying players like that. I did see 2 passes yesterday which put defences on their back foot, but I haven't seen that for such a long time in the regular season. So, the fact that you can turn up with one of those passes out of nowhere, where's that been all season long? In moving into the attack, I haven't really gotten a problem with the attack, but the amount of money, I'm a big Ozil fan, as you guys know, and the amount of money that you're paying for the likes of Ozil, you're just not getting a return on it. I think he's got 2 assists this season, which is among the lowest he's ever had. Whatever is going on there, it's just not working. And we don't have the luxury to carry any players like that. As I said, if you can build a team around him, then I've got no problem with keeping him in the side. But the way that the current setup goes, it just is they're gonna probably have to have a deeper look at this 3-4-1-2. I've always favoured it because I thought that that's getting the best out of the front 2 strikers. But if it's not working behind in the defence, you need 3 good defenders to make that system work, and Emery hasn't got it. So either you go out and you get 3 defenders at the back that are going to do a job in a midfield that's going to work, because again, Kolasinac was missing yesterday. So that's a back 3 that's aging. Niles played well on the right as a wing back. He really offered something in the first half, but just got overran in the second half. And Kolasinac did nothing in the first half, nothing in the second half. We carried him the whole way. And if you're carrying players like him and Xhaka, that's too much, man. You're talking about half the team is being carried by the efforts of others. So I can totally understand where Emery's coming from when he makes a statement that some guys are going to have to leave and we're going to have to go with younger players. Smith Rowe, Saka and Reece Nelson, bring them into the first team. Don't even think about it. And if you're going 3 up front, put Edin Nketiah on the left. Just do something. Just change something, because what you've got now isn't working and you haven't fixed the defence. So, yeah, okay, maybe your defence is different with Chambers, Holding and Bellerin back there, who are all younger and have all produced better than what these players have produced. But you just have to bring in help elsewhere. You've got to do it. And I've always talked about putting a bid in for Cody, the captain of Wolves. I stand by that. He won't cost that much money. I believe he's only got 2 years left on his contract and he hasn't signed a new deal. But you've got to change something there. So look, guys, overall, and this is something that we have to understand now, it's the money situation. We're now going to be struggling big time for money. So let's talk about the season tickets. Next year's season tickets are not going to go up 20%. They would have gone up 20% had we qualified for the Champions League. So if you're in upper tier where you've been paying £1,100, previously you were paying £1,300 plus for Champions League, that was going to go back up to £1,100 to £1,300. But I doubt they're not going to do that anymore because we're back in the Europa League. So that money's going to stay flat. What does that mean for the team? Well, if you look at the average £200 increase on each season ticket, 60,000 fans, so you're talking about 200 times 60,000, that's about 12 million. So that extra Champions League money was worth 12 million to Arsenal's board at the gates. That would have been an income of 12 million. Making the Champions League, so you're talking about now, the amount of money we lost is considerable. And we're talking about now, for you to get out of the group stages, you're looking at £45 million out of the preliminaries. And then obviously you get through the preliminaries, that's another 12 million. So you're looking at 57 million. That's just getting into out of the preliminary stages. 57 million. And then you've got the ability to get to where Liverpool and Spurs have at the moment, where you can go on to make another 34 million. But, Arsenal's reached those stages a few times. So let's just talk about guaranteed money now. So the guaranteed money, as I said, 45 million for outside the group stages, another 12 for preliminaries. So that brings it up to 57 million. And obviously 12 million at the gate. Now that's really, really important, because as I said previously before, that extra 12 million in season ticket money for Champions League is what we're not currently paying. They reduced the cost by 20% a few years ago. And that 12 million on top of the 57 million takes it around to 69. So it's nearly 70 million. So Arsenal, by losing yesterday, the final to Chelsea, have cost ourselves £70 million in that year, in the summer. That's all transfer money. So you can see how important it is in order for us to be a part of the Champions League. You cannot just wake up one morning and see 70 million lying on your floor. You just can't. And overall, look, the final, it wasn't a great atmosphere. There was a lot of fans that wasn't there. It wasn't a great spectacle in terms of the game. Chelsea had already qualified for the Champions League, so they didn't really have a sweat, and then their stars put on a performance. But what are Chelsea going to do now? Because, look, they've lost Hazard, and they can't even replace him because of the transfer ban. That's how important it is to make the Champions League. Let's make no bones about it. Your whole summer transfer strategy depends on two things: your new commercial deals with Adidas, Indesit, and the stadium rights, and making a Champions League. And the latter is just fallen flat. And that's a lot of money that we will not have. So, yeah, that's gone. So all of this talk that we had and videos that I've made and other guys, content users have made out there talking about wait until the summer, wait until the summer. Well, we actually have the information now, and project-wise, the improvements with commercially have gone well. The improvements on the field haven't. Emery failed with his targets this year. He's failed. He didn't win any silverware, didn't win the one thing he wanted to win, which was the Europa Cup. He didn't win that, and you didn't make the top four. So as far as the season goes, what have we done? We've, instead of finishing sixth that we did under Wenger, we've finished fifth. We've not won anything, and we've let in more goals than we did last season. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. Whatever decision or opinion you guys want to make, that's entirely up to you. But we haven't improved in the way that we thought we did coming off the Wenger's last season. I mean, it shows in the lack of structure we've had, the switching of formations, just total confusion on all parts of back three, back four, just half-time substitutions because things were wrong in the first half. A terrible away form, which has just never been fixed. Man, you know, like, we have understood it's taken Pep and Klopp 3 years to change. It's probably going to take the same with Arsenal. So you just have to understand that it's going to take us more time. But within that reign of taking more time, we want to see upward trends. We want to see things improving. We want to see less goals being let in, a more solidified structure in the midfield, better backing. Because remember, we can talk about Klopp and Pep as much as we like, but those guys had backing from the board. Yeah. So before we even talk about what's been going on, Pep spent more money than anyone else, and Liverpool had money readily to spend in the transfer market. Hence, which is why they bought Van Dijk and why they bought Sane, Salah, you know, and all these other players that they bought in. They have bought players in through the ranks, but they've gone out and spent big when they've needed to. And if you don't get that from Arsenal, look, 2 years ago I said one thing, and everybody on 101 knows this. I said Arsenal are the only team in the league that is not fitted to getting back in the top four if we drop out, because we simply don't have the financial might and the board backing to get back in the top four. And I said if we dropped outside the top four, it would be the worst thing that could happen to us, because we don't have the money to get back in. And we're seeing that now, 3 years on. Yeah, and that prediction that I made 2 years ago, is holding fruit. We don't have the financial backing to get back. Look how much money Man United spent, over 200 million a year, and they only got back in the top four because they won the Europa League. Had it not been, literally, yeah, okay, they finished second one season as well, but they look where they are now, finishing sixth. They're absolutely nowhere, and they're throwing so much money at this thing. And guys, you know, even with the money, nothing's guaranteed. That's how hard it is. This bar to achieve right now is so high that if you're not doing one thing, you have to at least do the other. And Arsenal are not doing neither. They're not investing. They're not getting the backing from the board. They're not... Guys, we're in a real jam right now, and that's the reason why this summer is huge for us, because this summer will be an indication of how far they need to go. For a club that is not spending beyond their means, the means and their commercial business and the money coming in is not enough right now, because we didn't make the Champions League. So we've fallen flat on our laurels, and we're going to struggle. That's how it is. And the board is not going to come in and give an infusion of cash, because the board understands that we have this sustainable model, which means we only spend beyond our means, and we're not getting enough of that coming in. So guys, I'm going to leave it right there, and we're just going to have to see how this plays out. Yeah. Next video, again, we're going to grade Emery, and we'll look at the numbers when we do that, and we have to be fair as well. Okay, so peace out, like and subscribe. Big appreciation for you guys. This is a channel only in its first year. Yeah, we're going well. We're going to get even bigger next year. Trust me, because I got some things I'm working on, a lot of collaborations. But listen, guys, we have to back our team. They need us badly right now, because the players' heads are down. The board are probably not going to move on their stance. And the only thing they have is us. That's the only thing they have to move forward in a positive light, is the fans. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Peace out. Love you guys. Appreciate it. That's our end of the season, really. But let's take a look at all the intangibles. So more videos are coming. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you guys stranded. See you later. Peace out.